Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. I don't know how long tonight will be. It may be short, like it was last time, I should say. Uh, the only thing I wanted to do was talk about a couple of developments that have come up. Um, I suppose the first thing I could talk about is that Timothy uh, may be facing several charges. And one charge he may be facing is for revenge porn. Because Timothy, uh, or PWS Builder, as she is known, put up pictures on the blog owned by Timothy Charles Homestead. And the problem with that is it's a felony in the state of Texas. And I'm going to pull up the law. Um, oh dear. Excuse me. Anyway, it's going to take me a second because of where. Nope, that's not it. All right, I'll do this a different way. I thought I had this prepared. Hello, Saren. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Jody. And Dead Guy, Tennessee Lights. Let me see. How can I do this? I'll just have to bring it up again. So, yeah, Agent Margaritaville is apparently out of jail, and they're all making a big fuss out of it over on Teleturds. Um, I guess him and uh, Margaritaville and Field are still good friends, um, which is a surprise. But I think that Margaritaville always supported Field, so it is what it is. But they're making a big deal about his being in jail, and yet we have Mr. Homestead running around with at least two misdemeanor warrants and probably in a very short time 2 or 3 felony warrants. So it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black, I guess. But well, I think what I'm going to do is while I'm waiting for this, um, as you know, Mother's Day, um, Bill McConnell and Paula Blades had a conversation. And it's a real interesting conversation, and it's got everybody all excited over on Telegram. And so I want to make sure. Well, looks like I just want to make sure my banner's down so I don't interfere with this. So we'll see what happens here. Oh, that would be interesting. Uh, I'll see if this is going to work.
So just quickly, Field, welcome home. I'm glad you're home from the hospital.
So am I. Thank you.
Thank you. And I know we didn't plan on recording today, but would you like to quickly explain what happened again today?
In mid-morning, I got a phone call from the Pierce County, Wisconsin Sheriff's Office, and it was a female sheriff's deputy who, drives a patrol route. And she asked me how I was doing. I said, fine, I'm doing fine. I just got out of the hospital yesterday. And she said, the reason I'm asking how you're doing is we at the sheriff's office got a call from some woman named Jessie Sebatar who said that you were in jeopardy of being harmed and that we should check on you. And I told the sheriff's deputy that nothing could be further from the truth. I'm not in jeopardy of being harmed by anyone. I'm in very good shape. I think there's people that would like to harm me, but they're all in a very small camp, and they're not making any progress getting into my camp or getting the sheriff to come here and check on me. And it was my great fortune that the woman police officer that called me was quite familiar with me because she had stopped me on a traffic violation probably 10 years ago, and she remembers it very well because I was so accommodating and I didn't make up anything. I just said, no, you're right. I was going 72 and a 55. And so we talked for a bit, and she checked the car out, and then she said, well, have a good day. And I said, aren't you going to give me some paperwork? And she says, what kind of paperwork? And I said, the kind you pass out when you stop cars. And she says, I could if you want, but I don't feel it's necessary in this case. And I said, well, okay, I volunteered. And then she thanked me and went off. But fortunately for me, this was not exactly a cold call because she knew who she was calling and she had a favorable opinion of me. And so she's not going to put any, she's not going to believe anything that comes out of that group down there, wherever they live. And I rattled off the names to her so she would know who I'm talking about. But she felt very comfortable that I was in good hands. And I feel even more comfortable that I'm in good hands. If somebody came here and tried to harm me, they might eat some lead.
Okay, so this is kind of a repeat of 2 days prior to your probation hearing with a Canadian woman by Alex Kukanakis that called and said that somebody was in your house trying to kill you, correct?
Well, they're very poor at killing because there was nobody in my house, but even if there was, I didn't get killed. So these people are lying to the police officers, and I think that constitutes filing a felonious or a dishonest police report.
I agree. I believe that these are swatting attempts, Field, because these people are afraid of your truth, the truth coming out.
Well, it's not so much my truth, it's their truth. They did it, not me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're all Homeseth associates. They're all in bed with Timothy Homeseth and Randy Lynn Erickson. And there's a lot of lies coming out of that camp. And I'm really glad that you told me about this today. And I just wanted to get this on recording so that I could put this out to your listeners so they understand the depth of what is happening.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I'm glad you did.
Okay. So today is Mother's Day 2023. What is it, May the 13th today?
I don't know.
I think it's May 13th. Might be the 14th. I think it might be the 14th. So correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, and excuse my error, but it is Mother's Day. And yeah, not okay what you guys are doing to Field. I would prefer you guys left him alone and let him heal and let him come back when he's ready to go onto live streams and his radio show and to keep your camel noses out of his business. Back to you, Field.
Yeah, well, most people that are interested in my business are friends and allies, and there's just a couple that are troublemakers, and they're really not going to make any trouble for me because I will not condescend to their level.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate everything, Field, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm glad you're doing well. The hospital visit went well, and I'm glad you're home and safe and sound. And Field just needs a little bit more rest, everybody. And I'm sure when he's ready, he'll be ready to come and answer any questions that you all may have for him.
Okay, now they've been having a fit over on Telegram about that recording, all kinds of goofy conspiracy theories going on, and so on and so forth. But Tim Holmseth may have something else to worry about, as I alluded to earlier. Uh, for some reason, he thought it would be a bright idea to publicly inform people that he had a nude photograph of a woman who I believe is from the state of Texas and has actually posted them over on um, the social media accounts that he has. Now, the problem uh, is this is a felony in the state of Texas. You don't go around putting up nude photographs of people without their consent. And the victim in this situation is thinking very seriously of filing charges for um, posting her pictures without her consent. And there's also a chance that video voyeurism may be levied as well. And for each photograph that is put up is a count. So if you put up two photographs of someone, that's two counts. And so the laws vary a little bit from state to state, but primarily in the case of Texas, it is a felony. And it is believed that the individual is from the state of Texas. And she, I believe, said she is going to be contacting an attorney to see what her options are. And that's where we stand at the moment. Now, there is another piece of news having to do with an individual who goes by the handle PWS Builder. And I have been getting information for several days, and it is likely that this individual has been identified. And the person is who I thought she was. She's somebody that is both associated with Holmseth and Jesse, and is also someone who is a published author, and she's also into web design and so forth. So we may find ourselves looking at someone else that is being um, charged with a felony in relation to Mr. Holmseth. And since she is more or less the primary supporter of the Timothy Charles Holmseth blog where the revenge porn is, and she reposted the um, article that had the revenge porn in it, she is an accomplice to this felony and she would be charged as well. Now, Jessica will probably face charges for filing a false police report, elder abuse, and so forth. Well, that cat got let out of the bag. That's exactly who it is, according to very reliable sources. It is a person by the name of Veronica Swift. Uh, the, the particulars of this individual has been handed over to investigators that have been looking into the conduct that is going on. So there is a possibility, once verified, that this individual will be facing both civil and criminal actions regarding to material that has been posted on timothycharlesholmseth.com. Because as an author, she is responsible for what she writes, and because of that, um, she is going to have a problem. Well, I had not known before that Deep State Dave had identified her. I started getting questions about her from a number of different sources, and I had forgotten about this. And even today, her name came up, and it came up from a very interesting source. Um, it's not Deep State Dave or anyone uh, currently known. This was directly from law enforcement sources that I have been working with on other matters. The name just came out of the blue, like, do you know this individual? And I says, well, I think her name has come up recently, and we had a very interesting to discuss with her. And another name, well, it more than likely this is a pen name because they mentioned another alias might be a Veronica Robinson, but that is um, right now being looked into. Um, and I was supposed to be sent information that I would be allowed to release regarding this individual. Um, she is a published author, and she communicates a lot with Jessica. Um, Now, because of this woman's background, it would make sense that she would be the one behind a lot of things that have been going on social media accounts having to do with Tim Holmseth and this phony PPTF. So it would make sense that um, she would um, possibly have something to do with this. And um, the I'm bringing up the information that I was sent uh, to see what we have. Now, one of the things I was sent was a WordPress blog. And this is called an Illuminati partner. So this would apparently mean that this individual is one of these uh, people that are interested in. Okay, Sarah, let me read what you just posted here. Yeah, well, Jesse is a weirdo, which is an understatement. And, um, but Jessica may be in trouble for um, what she has put on um, social media, talking about home theft and so forth, and uh, getting into this business of traveling to the hospital where Phil was. Now, I don't know exactly when they took this little sightseeing trip, but I found something rather interesting. And let's see, I'm going to bring up, I hope there's no music on this. I'll kill the audio. Well, maybe I won't bring it up where to go. And let me do it this way. But all these people are weird. Now, you see this thing with the murder attempt of Field McConnell and this nonsense um, regarding um, I'm trying to see if this is no, this is different. Um, but what I'm trying to find a video, so and I don't know. Never knew there were so many people with the same name on here. I know. I'm gonna have to find this. Well, this is rather curious because in the video, there's I don't know how many of you have seen the video. I'm trying to see if I can get a copy of this. Um, I'd forgotten all about this. Traffic violation. Okay, that's not the. You guys have a conversation for a minute. Well, we're going to have to do this a different way. I'm not getting what I'm looking for. Good question. Okay, let's do it this way. Yeah, now let me bring this in because I found this rather curious when I saw it. So let me. I've got to. Oh shoot! I got to do this in a different browser. I don't know, to be honest with you. That would have to be done through a public records request. Um, but since Field McConnell acknowledged there was a call, there was a call. Now, what's going to happen at this point is that where the hell's that keep disappearing? My stuff is acting up tonight. Okay, now let's get this over here, and let's get YouTube. No, let's go here. Whoa. Yeah, one of these days I'm going to fix this because I'm getting. I thought I had the link in here. There we go. Just took a second to figure it out. All right, now. Well, I'm trying to cue this up. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard Field has had enough of this, and he's going forward with the necessary procedure to file criminal charges against. Now, here we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring this into the room. And I'm going to run this video through. So you folks can watch it and then say, let me get this out of the way. All right, now I can fix this just a little bit. Now, I queued this up at where this little road trip was going on. And I want you guys to watch this video and see if you notice something that's different than virtually every other one of these things that Tim Holmseth has done. And here we go. Okay, that was a brief video. Now let me rewind this a little bit. And we're going to play a little game here. Can you folks take a look at that video and notice something about this video that is different than every other video you've seen that has been attributed to Tim Holmseth? I'll give you a second to let you study this video. Now, what's funny is 30 people that I've shown this video to didn't get it. But once they saw it, they said, oh, that's interesting. But let me see if you guys can figure this out. Well, you're almost there, but it has specifically to do with the picture I have up on the screen right now on their way to the hospital. There's something, it should be obvious to everyone, and I want to see if you guys can figure it out. Because I was a little surprised when I saw this, and then I started showing it to associates I work with. They didn't understand it either. They didn't get it. And so what happens was that there is just something going on here. And I'm going to talk about the Mayo Clinic here in a minute. But you guys are clearly missing the clue. I mean, it is a big clue. Now you drive a normal highway speed. What you're missing here is, notice that below the triangle, the screen is totally black. And what this means is that whoever took the video did not want to show the interior of the car. Now, in virtually every video that Holmseth has done, he has shown the hood of the car. No hood of the car. Now, let's look at the and something else that's interesting about this. Notice, let me play this forward a little bit. Notice the landscaping. This is not Wisconsin. This is not Minnesota. This is out west. Over here on the right, yeah, how about that? This brush here, this is sagebrush. You see this out in the western part of the country. These buttes here are found in places like Colorado, North and South Dakota, and so forth. Western North and South Dakota. And then we move forward, and bang! The scenery changes to all this nice, lush grass here, 4-lane highway. and hills in the background. Now, Wisconsin does have hills. Yeah. Yeah. The first one was Texas. This one is more or less farther east. But then, since you guys want to talk about the sign, I don't know where the hell you guys saw security cameras on here, but you're close. The Mayo Clinic is high security location. They have got closed circuit cameras all over the place. They've got cameras inside the hospital, so on and so forth. So the problem here is that they went to a location that has a lot of security cameras. And so that means that law enforcement working with the hospital will be able to identify the car that was in that picture. So why they blotted out the car is anybody's guess. I mean, you guys have seen my video, and anyone that knows how to use a camera can adjust the camera so you don't see the dashboard of the car. So, what else in that picture could possibly have been a reason to hide it? Well, some video smartphones, uh, dash cams, and what have you have time, date, location stamps. So, there may have been information on the image that they did not want to have out there. And so they um, plotted it out so no one could figure out who was driving the car. But let me see something. I want to. Boom. Oh, that's okay, Lori. Glad you checked in anyway. You can always watch the replay. But I'm trying to do something here, so bear with me. What I'm trying to see here is okay. Now, this is the clinic in question. And let me go ahead and get my mug out of here. Why am I? For whatever reason, this is not doing what I want, but we'll. Well, this is not going to Sorry about that. I messed up. But anyway, I'm in Google Earth, and this is a overview of the Mayo Clinic on Google Earth. And what I'm trying to find is the sign that they said that they took a picture of at the clinic. And so what we do is we get this sucker to come down to Street View, if it's going to do that. And it's not going to do that. Well, I'll do that a different way, but what I want to do is I want to try and see if I can find this sign. And so this is another entrance. And we have trees. This is probably, generally with hospitals, they have a walk-in entrance and they have the emergency entrance, which this probably is. But again, we have no sign. Why do we not have a sign? Now, this might be it here, because they got this monolith. So let me see. How do we get? All right. For some reason, how do I get Street View on this thing? Yeah. See, the thing of it is they said they went to this hospital. This is where Field McConnell was. Now, if they didn't go to this hospital, why did they go to another hospital and say that they went to this one? But I think this is the sign we're looking for. So let me go. That looks like that's a sign. So they stopped at this intersection and took that picture. This is in MEMONATE, or Monty, Wisconsin. MEMONIE is where Field was. So that's however the hell you pronounce that. But let me go to. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. All right, we're back. So let's go down the street here. And there's our sign. Now let me go and look at Timmy's little picture here. But this is how I research locations. Um, so they took the picture of the sign. It's somewhere, let's see, over here at the intersection. But somewhere around this intersection, they took the picture of that sign. So that means that, they came in one of these four directions, and this is near a major highway, because you got First Avenue, whatever street that is there, and First Avenue. And so somebody came, these were actually taken different times of the day, and took pictures of the sign. Um, but I'm going to rewind the tape. Why does he always take a picture of himself in front of that boat? Has a thing for that boat. But it could be they could have brought it up on Google Maps. That's what I'm on here. Um, it would be a simple matter to bring it up on Google Maps. Because unless they stood on the sidewalk, uh, it would be difficult to duplicate it. And so what I want to do is I want to get to that place in the video. But another thing that these people should be aware of is something called metadata, which is in, okay, come on. This thing wouldn't pause. But the way I'm watching this so I don't lose this again. Okay, we're looking at the sign and they're looking at it from left to right. All right, so let me go over here. All right. Okay, the fire extinguisher. So they were over here. Because you notice there's a fire extinguisher to the left of the sign. And if you were to go on their image, apparently they were in this parking lot right here. And that would have given them that angle if you look at the photograph. Now, they cropped this so close, I can't see this building in the background. And let's see, the symbols here, so no, they were over here. All right, let's change the angle. Now, the thing that I can't figure out The sign you are showing has core. What do you mean by that? Because this is the sign. I'm just trying to figure out the alignment because we have this fire hydrant. Well, where's the other sign? Because this is what I'm trying to figure out. Well, it's the landmarks because we got, see, we got trees that aren't showing up. Yeah, so this, so let's go down the road a little, see if we got another one. All right, this is the only other entrance right here. So, see, I'm not getting, see that fire hydrant and the way it's lined up in his photograph, it would have to be a big tree in the background of the sign, which might be this one. And it's a different time of the year. Now, this is interesting because we're not getting an align. I'm not getting the alignment of the fire extinguisher. What I find interesting is what the hell is that? They got this orange and white stripe right next to the fire extinguisher like they were doing surveying. And so, well, okay. Well, what I'm going to have to do, this is kind of interesting. This is, when I try and do research on this, I always try to, all right, well, what we're going to do, yeah, I kind of figured that's what it was. It's probably a different time of the year that um, this photograph was taken by Google and Timmy's photograph. Because now I want to see. How the hell did it go? Well, because what I want to do now is, yeah, I kind of figured it was either a surveyor's mark or a snow mark. And it's probably someone that's snowing, they don't run over the fire hydrant. So I'm in my, okay, because what it says on the thing here, it's got the name of the Mayo Clinic, And then it's got urgent care and hospital to the left on Timmy's sign. So, yeah, this is a completely different sign. Okay. As it says on here, uh, urgent care, hospital, education center, clinic, and family birth center. Okay. So we got urgent care to the right. And let me. All right. So let's go the other way. Because what? All right. Now let's see what we got. Well, the damn thing is behind a tree. Because there's this sign. All right. Now this is the wrong sign, too, because it's got hospital, outpatient, education center, and receiving. Yeah, I'm beginning to think that. Um, because the signs aren't matching up. See, the only problem with that is that they have said that they went to there in their thing, so they're kind of stuck. Ooh, 78 degrees. Yeah, this is taken during the summer. But there's no. Oh, what do we got up here? Eye care center. So, gee, maybe that's Timmy in his mega hat. Uh, yeah, that dumb shit went to the wrong hospital. That way, I would not be a bit surprised, you guys, if he didn't go to the wrong hospital. Because these signs are not matching up. Because that sign that I first went to would only have a limited amount of information on it. So, yeah, it looks like he lied to his people again. Because, see, that sign doesn't match the landscaping, so it's not that one. Because emergency and urgent care are here. Well, the thing, well, if it's signs for turning into the hospital, then he wasn't at the hospital. They did a drive-by. Because the signs do not. The thing that strikes me about this sign, though, is the landscaping matches. Because they got this flower garden type thing in the picture here. And so you have that sign, and you got this one. And the fire hydrant doesn't have the snow stick on it. They conveniently chopped off the top of the sign, so you can't make up in the upper top left-hand corner. This would show up. It's not showing up in the video at all. So they may have hid this. The top green reads Red Cedar Mamoni. The sign that on Timmy's copy, that name is obscured. You can't read it. So they deliberately cropped the video so that you couldn't read the sign. They probably went to the nearest Mayo Clinic from wherever they were at and photographed it. But it's so blurry you can't make it out. As I fixed the video so that the thing shows up. But urgent care hospital to the left, and yet it's showing going to the right. Yeah, this sign doesn't make any sense. Because in order for that sign to show up, the way they've lined it is like that. But it says urgent care hospital, but it does not say education center. Now, this building here does show up in the background, but there's no tree over here. So it's like when Tim Holmseth was there, they decided they didn't need the education center. So they took this thing off the sign. But they're going to have to, why didn't they show driving into the hospital, parking, or something else? Why did they do just a standalone of the sign? Doesn't make any sense. So, but, they want to say they went to that hospital, they want to go to jail for stalking the elderly, then they're more than welcome. Because they are saying that they were at that hospital, which makes them guilty of stalking. Because they had no reason to be at that hospital. But, but what we do have is them claiming to be at Phil McConnell's, or claiming that they called the cops and complained about Phil McConnell being in danger. That's a false police report. That's a felony in the state of Wisconsin. So, not a good thing to be doing. But so that was an exercise in doing a little research to try and figure out where exactly they were. Now I have heard that Tesla's account has been suspended, so I don't know what I don't know what to make of that one, but they seem to be happy that Tesla was suspended. But I'm trying to find, before I log off, there's one more thing I want to find that I thought was interesting. And I got to see if I don't know if it was in here or elsewhere. Let me bring up my gallery. So that is. Okay, I wonder what I did with that. All right, I'm trying to find one more item here. All right, one thing that Timmy is posting over on Telegram is I received an extortion demand pertaining to my news coverage of the first degree murder trial of Neely Petrie Blanchard. Law enforcement has been notified. Now, I'm wondering what in hell that is all about. Now he's claiming that for some reason he's received an extortion pertaining to his news coverage. And all he's been doing is saying that Neely Blanchard is innocent. There is, but what it's done is it's kind of rotating around. But what they could have done was go to Google Maps, bring up a Mayo Clinic in a different location, and do the thing around. Well, of course he's lying, Mark. He lies about everything. And you can't do an image search on a video. You have to use a different utility. There are things that I use, but Durham police says they have not been able to locate a 57-year-old accused of harassment and making death threats. But the only problem with that is Infiltrator put that up, and it's from, let's see, when was this? 2021. This is 2023. The guy has already been located, served time, and is out. And so I'm not sure what that is. But now, another thing that's got me kind of confused here is there was a letter that was supposedly written by Katie and it's got two dates here, 4/24/2023, and it's got 05/03/2023, and it's supposed to be a letter from Tim. Now, what is interesting about this letter is there is a watermark or some kind of a symbol in the top of the letter uh, that's been redacted, along with over on the dates, there's a big red blotch knocking out all the information. And where the fingerprint is, there's another red line. Now, if what it's not understanding is why all this was redacted. May have been out of courtesy for all I know, but Homesat is disputing the letter. Now, there's a problem with this. It's easy enough to get handwriting samples of Tim Homesat. He did a lot of filing with the courts back in longhand. And so it's a good starting point to do a handwriting analysis on this letter and see if it is, in fact, Tim Homesat. Because there are things you look for when you're doing handwriting analysis between a controlled model and what we have here. And you can also do a linguistics analysis to see if the linguistics matches up, and also his signature to see if it matches up. And what I'm going to do, since this is, I've had about 5 different sources send me this letter. I just happened to grab this particular version off a Telegram. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to process, oh, darn it, I'm going to process this. And so we go. So let me go over here. But this is they're raising a big stink about this. Yeah, good night, Toot Sweet. Glad you stepped in again. And come back again sometime. But I'm going to be, after this, I'm going to call it a night. This is my last subject of the night. Let's see. But I hope she doesn't mind me doing this. Okay, well, let's get rid of... Okay, let me bring this in. All right, now you're probably not going to be able to read this but I'm going to go through it a little bit. But what is interesting about this is the good night, Mark. Thank you for coming in. But down in the bottom right hand corner is Timothy's signature. So we go through our archives, look for his signature to compare to this letter. Now, it's difficult for someone to forge a signature. There's ways of telling the differences. So we can find out if this is in fact Timmy's signature. There's the fingerprint over on the right. If it would be nice not to have this bar here, because you can get the fingerprints off of that. And also, what is with this thing up here at the top? It's got Timothy in there, but I don't know what the rest of this is. But the thing of it is, why would somebody write such an elaborate letter? This is a long letter. And it gives too many clues, because you could take well, the thing of it is, she may not have redacted this. This did not show up on her. I don't know what's going on with this letter. Somebody might want to ask her why this was done. But it showed up on Telegram. It showed up on IBT's thing. So I don't know where the original letter came from. That would be up to Katie to answer, is where, why all this information was omitted. Because this could be stationary that would give a clue as to where he might be. Because that could be a watermark of a college or some institution. And this is also a unique kind of paper. If you notice, there's a pattern in the paper. If this is the kind of stationery I think it is, this is rather unique. So I don't know. Well, maybe somebody who knows her could ask her. It just seems awful interesting that if Holmeseth think this letter's a fake, that they would redact portions of it. It depends on who reacted or redacted the letter. But the thing of it is, they're making a big deal out of this letter. For some reason, they're having a fit over it. And it was known that she and Holmeseth were an item, because that's where the video came from in the first place. She was said to have sent it to Holmeseth. And if that's the case, then it would have been common sense for her to send that letter, or for him to send the letter. You got it. That's exactly what I was looking for. That's parchment paper, Sharon. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name of it, but that's parchment. Um, and so that's another clue. But I'm gonna see. I'm gonna contact somebody and see if they can help me out on this. And let's see. Boy, this thing is tough to type on. Okay. Okay. And of course, it's not on here. All right. Yeah, but it definitely looks like parchment. So it'll look fancy. And so but what it does is it gives us a sample or control point to take the letter and go ahead and but what what um gets my curiosity is in this monogram. I get what looks like FI comma colon Timothy dash, and then you can't see the rest of it. So this is some organization, and the whole thing has been deleted. So this makes me wonder uh, who edited this letter. Did she edit the letter, or did somebody else edit the letter? Um, I would be curious to know where the letter came from. But she may have had her reasons for redacting it. I don't know. But you try and see if any traction can be made on where that letter came from. It's handwritten. I've enlarged it, um, and it's handwritten. Um, because there are, it's obvious. It's a handwritten letter. So I don't know. I just find it interesting that they're making such a huge deal over this letter. I mean, so what? If he wrote her a letter, he wrote her a letter. I mean, the guy is a ladies' man. Um, but for some reason, they seem to want to make an issue out of it. And I just thought that was interesting. So, but um, yeah, it's extremely fine print. That's usually associated with a female, which kind of makes it interesting. My handwriting is horrible. That's why I print everything. I've got the worst handwriting anybody ever could see. And I do the same thing that was done in this letter. I don't write in longhand. I print everything out. Um, See, that's another interesting thing about that letter. Uh, is it is not um, it's not written in longhand. It's printed. Well, anything is possible. I mean, uh, you know, Jesse could be jealous because I thought that Timmy and Jesse were an item. Um, but it's hard to say what's going on. But I just find it curious that they're making a big stink over this letter. Uh, and the fact that it was sent through the U.S. mail. This is not an email. This is a letter that was sent through the mail, and so there would be a postmark on the envelope as to where this letter came from. So, well, I don't know. I know people that write this small, um, so that's just a style. But what's curious is that it was written in longhand and it was sent through the mail. This makes the letter traceable because on most envelopes that you get when you send something through the mail is the city, the zip code where the mail was processed through the post office. And so if anybody wanted to find out where the letter came from, that would be easy to do if you have the envelope and it gives you a legible image of the postmark. So word of advice is don't send people messages over the U.S. mail because it's a source of information. Because if the thing was sent through the mail, there will be an envelope with a postmark on it. And it depends on if she left the postmark. Yeah, well, Sharon, that's good to have you. But the thing of it is, if you study the letter, where uh, you download the image and blow it up like I have, you'll find that it is definitely handwritten. Um, and so it would be a handwriting expert that would be able to interpret the letter and tell you a lot uh, about it. Oh, okay. But I do. When I write, I print. I do not write longhand. I'm terrible at it. So if anybody ever shows anything longhand and says it's from me, then it's a fake. Because I write, but I don't write in this particular fashion. Uh, my lettering is normally a bit larger than that. Okay, check my mail. Somebody was supposed to send me some mail, and it never came, so I'll have to talk to them about that. 17th. Okay, that's fine. And I got a pretty decent number of people in here tonight for this small place. Yeah, well, what I did, say, if you were to go to where I got this from and download the image and put it through an editor, and as a matter of fact, just for shits and giggles, I'll do that. I'll blow it up so you can see what I'm talking about. Just give me a minute to. And what I'll do is I'll blow up so you see this thing over here. All right, now I gotta. All right. Okay, let me bring this in. And let's go to here. Yeah, too many overlays, so I have to keep. Okay, now this is the blown up section of the letter, and this is how you can tell that it's printed. Well, the only thing I can figure is uh, it's trying to make the letter look official, or it's stationary from a church or organization that has the wording in the uh, watermark or whatever you want to call it. Because in the letter, in the header of the letter, there is a symbol in the top. And so let me. So let us do this. We bring Okay, now what you see is just below the red marking. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. In the marking underneath the redaction is Timmy was supposed to have written this. And IBT and the people over on Telegram says that it's a forgery, that Butterfly wrote it, and that it's a fake. And I have no way of verifying this because I don't have a sample of either one of their handwriting to do a comparison. You gotta have a control point or known source of each of their handwriting styles, and then you have to have this to do what it would be an amateur analysis of the handwriting. I'm not a handwriting expert, but I know people who are, that I could probably get to look at this if I had a control sample. And so without that, it's hard to say if it's genuine or not. I just find it interesting that everybody's making a big deal out of it, because it's just, it's your standard affectionate letter, love letter, if you want to call it that. And it really, that's all it is. Well, Sarah, you could actually print this out on a printer, but it's a tagline, and what I'd be curious to know is, what's in a tagline of? Because if it's a school, church, or some other organization that would have that tagline in it, you could match it up. So I just, with that redaction there, it would be difficult to figure out where this thing came from. Yeah, it's not going to win anybody up. Sorry about that. I took my damn headset off and I forgot the mic is on the headset. One of these days, I'm going to get a regular microphone hooked up to this, so if I want to take this thing off. But, yeah, well, what it is, that's a run-on. That's what they call a run-on sentence. And I'm guilty of doing that myself. Where, you just write a very long sentence without anything. But what's interesting, is how well this redaction is done. The process that was used to do this is pretty good, because instead of doing squiggly redactions like I've seen, somebody went through the effort of doing a block redaction, and we have seen this with Holmseth material before, where he has gone through and, yeah, it probably sounded like I was out in Mars or someplace. I laid the headset down on the desk, but this style of redaction I've seen with Holmseth's paperwork before, and so that's leaning in the direction of this being an authentic letter from Holmseth. But the way to verify it is to find out where the letter came from. Did she actually post it? Did she post it this way? Were the redactions not there? And if she did post it without the redactions, why did they redact it? Because once somebody knows where the letter came from, it's going to be easy enough to track it back. They're griping about the audio. But I'm going to bring up there. See, in my processor, I can bring it up and go through this. See, I had meant to read this. This is impossible to read on a phone. I have to say, comma, set in stone between us, and most importantly, share with you, as required, my innermost heartfelt appreciation and admiration of your essence as so seemingly comfortable and familiar while so instantaneously calming to my soul. That is a run on sentence. Um, and we go on. The light in your eyes is impossible to withstand. That's a small one. In the rear view mirror, I see being drawn near you with force that is in a minimum, that at a minimum allows visions of onerous being made whole with a perfect fit and all as a spirit that would seemingly be the one semicolon to make me whole. That's, that's kind of an interesting sentence. The punctuation is off. I have been smitten by your innermost beauty that radiates from within you as a brightening, shiny glow that is immediately calming to my soul, no matter what the weather. You, Katie, are bright, shining, precious, admirable, inspirational, appreciated, treasured, beautiful, and most importantly, loved by this man. I have been guided in a way, semicolon, that will produce for me and have already felt, semicolon, the love of another precious and so deeply loved family. I only get blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's, uh, the punctuation is interesting. I want to see something because a good, a good control to figure this out is right here because this is a control point to work with. So we open up and I would have to go through here uh, for punctuation. Now we have almost immediately, I'm picking up on a run on sentence. Uh, the fear and outrage that accompanies any missing child case also made the Haley Cummings disappearance a media sensation overnight. Now, that's actually the dynamics of the case, which created the perfect storm for a news story mystery. All right, these sentences are short. So what I'm seeing here is a difference of handwriting styles. So this puts the what I would have to find, and I could probably find it in one of the court cases because he signed his name, is the uh, uh, way he signs his signature. So I'm going to have to do that. Because the punctuation is a little bit different in the book. Now, the thing of it is he may have taken more time to write the book than he would if he was just writing a letter. Um, and so one would have to go back. Yeah, you're right. He's written his music in this poetic style, if you want to call it that. And so there's a possibility that there would be a sampling out there of of longhand. But thinking everybody must work over there on Mondays. There's not a peep out of that side. There is nobody talking over there, which is fine. Yeah, that's why I'm able to concentrate better. But it's possible, but then it would be unethical for not giving somebody else credit for writing the book, but he could also put it through a word processor where it corrects bad punctuation and bad English, or he just kept. Most authors, when they write a book, they'll keep making revisions and rewriting. So he may have done a lot of rewriting in order to come up with a perfect book. Um, a lot of times, what a good writer does is they will hire a proofreader or a literary agent to go over the uh, book to make sure that a number of areas aren't neglected. Um, and this being a self published book, but okay, here we go. Um, we do have samples of his handwriting right on the cover of the book. If I can find these forms inside the book. And what's interesting is I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but down in the corner here, this transcript is small print, and he signs his T with the upward going. I wonder if he's put this stuff in here. That would make life easy if he did. So let's see. See, in the back of the book, he's got all these forms. And of course, he didn't. He didn't put, say, he has all this stuff written where he signed his name, but I don't remember any of this stuff showing up in the book. But let me. What the hell got on this book? But he is. This is back in the days when he used to write longhand, and so. This is going to take me a minute. I actually went a little over on my time tonight, and I'm getting people are melting away, which is to be expected. This is not the most exciting. Okay, let me. Okay. All right, this is going to be. All right. Now let me do this. Trying to see how I can do this. All right. I got to clean this book up. Don't know what happened. Something got on it, but I can clean it up. All right, just hold on a minute. I'm doing something here that might, because it's hard to do this on a or with the webcam I've got. So I did something a little different. So bear with me while I bring this in. All right, now got to make room for this. I have a feeling that this is a genuine letter. It's beginning to look like it just from a quick just from an initial study. Now, I could blow this up a little bit, but if you look at the T on Timothy, and then compare it, let's see, let me put. Now, it's going to be difficult here, but if you look down at his signature, notice that it's a slash upward movement, which would mean it's probably somebody that's right-handed. And even his signature is the only thing that's in longhand. And so you go over to the book and look at the T. It does the same thing. It goes over from the left to the right. It tilts up. And then in this, it's printed. He didn't do a longhand signature. Now, that is a difference there. But then what you do is you look down at the address. So let me take, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something a little further here. Let me, all right, this is interesting to do. So what we do is we take all right, now we bring up, okay, well, let me get rid of that since we're going to be stinky about this. All right, now, notice the letters again. You got the T with the slight elevation. You have the H's. You got L, I see. Now let's go up here to the love letter Roboto. And now in this, he goes with small letter, but still, see, we got F, we got S. Let me go back down to the signature. We don't have enough of a center here, but we got the S again, got the S here. The S here. And see, we don't, what I would have to do is, the way normally you do analysis is you look for sample points. But there's the S there, another S there, small case E there. There's an S there, S up there. So what you do is you take these S's and then you start comparing it to the S's in this form here to try and get some idea if this is authentic to the letter. Now, you need more than one control sample. The book is not a perfect sample, but it guides you in a direction where you would be able to decide. But this gets to the fact that this is small handwriting, because the cover of the book, and if you look at the cover of the book, um, notice that the handwriting is small. So he's got small handwriting here, small handwriting here. And, so I would say, from an amateur point of view, that this is a genuine love letter, that Tim did write it. But he's done, the thing of it is, he's done handwritten complaints, reports, responses, and so forth. And so it's just a matter of bringing up these samples and going through them and see if you can get a match between this letter and what he normally writes. But it's, you're getting, it would, to do this right, take an expert. But that, but I just my own personal curiosity, even though it really doesn't matter that much, would like to know if it is genuine. And that's an answer I guess I'm going to have to research, because it's basically up to Butterfly, since it's her letter, to decide whether or not she wants to send a version that can be tracked. But we get back to the original situation of why are they making a big deal out of this letter? And nothing. So, okay, that one's nothing. And let me take a look at this. I don't know who these 9 people are, but I'm glad they stuck with it. 3, 9. All right, let me close this out. Okay, this is that I'll look into later. And nothing. All right. Okay. Yeah, you're right. It's as far as control samples, they really need something that is to give a good example of how he writes continuously. Just a quick 3 lines on a book cover isn't going to cut it. It's got to be something where it's adequate enough to really go through the samples. But it does give a preliminary thing where he does write small, and on certain occasions he will print rather than write longhand. The only time you see him writing in longhand is his signature. And so I need something with a signature on it, and something where he does a long enough narrative to where you can make a comparative analysis of his handwriting. So I will have to go through my files and see what I've got, because I've got copies of every legal thing that he's done. Anyway, so I guess that's going to be it. I really don't have anything else on here. Let me just do a quick search, see if anything's come up on the Blanchard case, but probably not. But I know they're supposed to notify me about my discovery evidence that I'm waiting for. So just quickly, I will go into here. So let's see. Petrie, Blanchard, MCHARD. Search. And let's see, the latest thing on the 10th is the notification of conflict by the defense attorney, which states, blah, 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 comes now and undersigned Jack R. Morrow, Esquire, and respectfully asks this court for protection from court hearings, trial, and the above captioned case during the following dates: June 5th through June 23rd, 2023. Counsel is specially set for trial: United States versus Camille Muhammad, Middle District of Florida, Tampa Division. And that trial is supposed to commence on June 5th through June 2023. So he's going to be tied up on that trial for 3 weeks. And what I'm going to do is, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to look this one up and see what this is about, because this will give us an idea of his style of defending his clients. So we'll see how that works out. So I'll be checking into that one. So I'll mark that down and I'll look into that puppy. But that's where we're at there. There's nothing going on until the 23rd. And then, of course, we get into the Blanchard trial, which is going to be at that juncture. Let me go back and review that. That jury selection has been continued. And so we have jury selection will be on the 26th of June at 8:30 in the morning. So that means that we're going from the very end of June into July for the Blanchard trial, because June 26th, I don't know where my calendar is in this stupid thing. Okay, June 26th is on a Monday. So this is being set up the same way the old was, where we're going to be going from June 26th to June 30th for the trial, and the jury would go into deliberation on the 30th of June. Well, I'm glad I don't write small. My handwriting is just the opposite. You know. But the only So we're looking at the very last week of June is when this trial is going to happen. And that gives me plenty of time. I didn't mean to give anybody the finger. That gives me plenty of time to prepare. Because there's a couple things I got to clear with the court. And so I can do that. But, okay. I don't know who these 9 people were that hung around, but appreciate it. Anyway, that's going to be it for me tonight. So please like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and share. And if something comes up worth reporting on, I will report it. Be sure to go over to Messages from a Dead Guy on Twitter and subscribe to his account because he's going to be on and doing things eventually. You know, it's kind of hard to motivate the dead, but he's supposed to do his dead thing here pretty soon. And let me see what else. And I'm going to check in and see what this other case is that this attorney is covering or getting involved in over in Tampa, because this would give an idea of his style. Now, Tampa's a different court. I might be able to get a live stream out of there. So I'll be checking on that. I got a little bit of time, couple weeks to deal with that because he starts up on a Monday. And so we'll see what happens. Saren, you're welcome to talk in here anytime. Anyway, you have a good night. Everybody have a good one. And I'll be back eventually. Have a good week. Bye-bye.